So one of the things that you'll struggle with as an academic is, especially if you're a parent, you'll struggle with the idea um, of figuring out the right combination with parenting and how you're supposed to sort of balance that life. And I know that there's probably only a few people that listen to this channel that will sort of relate to this, but it's kind of a tricky thing. So my wife and I, we have 2 kids, and we try to do our best with parenting. And for both of us, we have very busy careers, and we balance off these busy careers with parenting, making sure that we're doing a good job with it. And so I think, the key is to sort of grow happy and healthy adults, not children, where they can comprehend and make sense of the world around them as adults, right? And that's the goal that I sort of see this, is that they're not necessarily my kids are not necessarily my peers, but I want them to grow up to be adults, to understand the world in a mature way. And, what that means is for them to realize that, hey, part of dealing with the sort of modern reality of our economy is dealing with 2 working parents, or maybe one working parent, but making sure that everybody is well aware with what's actually going on, and, discussing the fact that sometimes we make trade-offs with the things that we actually do. And I think that that's the key thing to think about. So, I find it challenging because, I often feel like not a very great parent, and I often feel like not a very great professor in many ways. And the challenge is sort of balancing those 2 and being okay with whatever happens, and just kind of dealing with it, right? Not in the sense of shrugging it off, but realizing that this is part of the reality that we live in. And there's kind of an idealistic nature of how we view the world, or an idealistic view that you have to be really, really good at one or the other, right? And I think both of those are real big misconceptions. And the reality is, the real world is that, you kind of doing a mediocre to good job at both of them at any given time. And I think that is probably a better reality, is to think about, on average, what is it actually like? Instead of thinking of the ideal or the extreme or aspirational, try to imagine yourself as for balancing on average or below average, right? So being within the the sort of mid quartiles of being right in the middle. If you can sort of do those things where you're kind of good at, or mediocre at both of, all of the realms that you're doing, that's actually pretty good. Because it's hard to balance all of those things. It's hard to do an extreme version of either of them. And often we're sort of at different stages of our life, where sometimes one is going to be more important than the other. So my kids right now, they're growing up a little bit more. They're not little kids anymore. But when there was little, it was really hard to do the academic thing. And there was lots of sacrifices to be made. But that was all really positive in many positive ways. And yes, I sort of worked really hard and both of them, but obviously you always feel like you're neglecting one thing or the other. And it's a weird transition right now as I'm going through this, and sort of thinking about what it means, to have kids that are more responsible and kind of doing things on their own a little bit more. It's kind of a weird situation for me in terms of, what does that mean, and what are the sort of values that you place on either or of being a parent or being an academic. And I think, both of those things is to realize that, hey, things are changing all the time, and to be okay with whatever happens. I think that's the best thing, is to understand that, just not to judge yourself in any moment on where you are. And I'm learning to do that. I'm learning to be better at just being me at the moment and not worrying about all the other stuff that goes on, and, practicing that. I think that's more important than being good or excellent or ideal or aspirational and at anything, of being a parent or academic or whatever. Just being yourself in the moment is actually the goal. And as you practice that, you actually feel better about who you are as a person. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.